This is an ad on the homepage of YouTube. So is this, so is this, and so is this. We're gonna click on all the ads, and I mean all the ads, and go through and figure out, are the games that are being advertised any good? Are the ads faithfully advertising their service? And most importantly, how in the world is any of this stuff legal? So the first batch of ads we're going to tackle is slop games that have freaky ads that exist solely to waste your time and probably make it so there's more of your data in China than actual Chinese citizens. Look, I don't know what in the world could have possibly possessed them to think that this freaky ass ad was a good idea. Like, do furries even play mobile games? Actually, don't answer that. But this game is clearly the evolution of the temple run subway surfer genre, where you just, stay on the line, you run, you move the thing, you kill the thing, all the while building up skills and become better at the thing. I will say it does look a bit more intuitive than the normal games of this nature, but I think it's safe to say that that ad has genuinely fuck all to do with the game. Like, if I was a furry, I'd be disappointed. I wanted fucking dating sim, not subway surfers with guns. But this next one is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I blame Kai-Cenat for it.
Dad or boyfriend? Definitely dad. He's much better to play around with. And I'm for sure gonna twerk on him. Psych, we're gonna argue about why mom left. If you wanna see me twerk on him, you're gonna have to download Down Below today.
I know that ad was bad, but would you believe me if I told you the game was even worse than the ad makes it out to be? Actually, you probably would believe me. Just look at the game itself. As you're running along this obstacle course, you got to pick up every one of these things, and they count as viewers for whatever reason. And as you have different options to do different things with your viewers, you get bombarded with ads. Yes, you can't even play this brain rot if you wanted to, because on any given run, you get hit with 2 ads mid-run. And look at what they're advertising. They're asking me if I want to get an AI girlfriend. Like, bro, she'd probably reject me too. And somehow, in this process of playing this masterpiece, I got the anime upgrade. Whatever the fuck that means. This next one, I can't lie, it's like kind of cool, but unfortunately I think it's illegal. Maybe that makes it more cool, I don't know. Somehow, what's actually going down in this ad isn't even the worst part about the ad, because it's actually the fact that this ad is claiming to be an open world Spider-Man game. I stand corrected, but what the fuck does that have to do with the actual game? Like, why were we doing that? I think something interesting to put this ad in perspective is that this game has 4.7 stars and is rated ages 12 and up. I don't even know what to make of that. Can't lie, man, the game's not bad. Like, even if it is a ripoff of Spider-Man, not a bad game to rip off. I mean, you even fight Fisk at some point. You got a whole gadget system. They even have different characters that you can play with at some point. And they even went as far to steal the music, the fights, and the animations. And although it's kind of wonky, it is meant for 12-year-old kids. And I think 12-year-olds would like this game. I definitely would have liked it at 12. I like it at 23. What's also annoying is, much like the greatest game of all time, Streamer Rush, I got bombarded by ads mid-playing. I'm trying to fight Black Cat. Yeah, like the Black Cat. And I get hit with this ad for this run game. And like, they're talking about some Among Us. Like, dog, we were fighting Black Cat. What are we doing? Now, in terms of the legality, I think this shit is illegal, personally. But given that the new anime game is coming out that looks like GTA meets anime, meets Spider-Man, meets Wolverine, meets Uncharted, meets every fucking IP that has ever come out, I don't think people really care about others cucking them for their animations and shit. Maybe these are people why NTR is so popular. Who knows? If you thought that ad was stupid, this next ad might be the most crazy misrepresentation I have ever seen. This game is rated for everyone ages 4 and up, by the way. It's a wild world out there. Now, I couldn't get this game to work, but after scrubbing for a long time, I finally found gameplay from 2025 on a video that has 4 views. Shout out Millie Bam. Now, off that ad, you probably think this game is some type of dating sim meant for women or something close to it, but not. This is a game where you do quests, gather items and outfits in order to compete in styling battles against NPCs. And there's a ton of different options. I even think they collabed with The Little Mermaid at some point. And I feel like we're beating a dead drum at this point, but what the fuck was the point of those ads? Like, this game clearly has an audience. There's so many Nintendo games like Pokemon that have this dress-up competition thing as an aspect to it. And this game itself used to be super successful, having about 100 million players over its lifespan from 2019 2025. And yes, the game's heyday is over, but these ads are not helping. Like, this ad is not making anyone play the game. And if anything, they try and play the game and be disappointed that it's not like the ad. Look at the amount of menus and options people have to design characters. Like, people would like this. This is what you should be advertising, you fucking dumbasses. I don't even know if this guy that is in the is even in the game.
Now, while that marks the end of stage 1, I think now is a good time to lay out a roadmap of the rest of our expedition. So stage 2 explores
the dark and goonery world of anime slop games that have some of the most absurd ads in the advertising history. Then we're gonna tackle a different type of gooning ad, the type for the weird sites and the weird tests and the AI anime girlfriends that Google allows to be advertised on their platform. Yippee! Go AI, go AI. And I'm gonna be honest, this was at first gonna be a very stupid video where I go through a bunch of stupid games, we have a laugh, but as I went further and further down this degenerate rabbit hole, I uncovered that Google and YouTube have been turning a blind eye and in return making hundreds of millions of billions of dollars, all the whilst ripping opportunities out of the hands of creators. This is gonna be a really fun stage, I can't wait. And then finally, we have the ultimate stage, the final stage. We're gonna click on the holy grail of crazy ads, the ad that stands on top of the pack as the most absurd, and crazily enough, it also happens to be the best game on the list, the best service on this list, and the most popular, and we're gonna do a full-fledged review of this masterpiece that looks like it should belong on a site that's orange and black.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
This is the start of the game. Like, unironically, you immediately are just thrown in, you're given a team, and you watch them fight here. As you can tell, this isn't even an app, it's a browser game. This is the worst of all the games, so the team building aspect has little to no depth, and there's also no story of substance, and in regards to the ways of enemies you're fighting, they seem rather mindless, and there isn't a whole lot of attributes and strategy to it. It's just plastered with Gooner bait, and I mean so much Gooner bait. And also, most of these types of games have hubs for you to track quests and other extra material you acquire, and the menu for that in this game looks like this. Like, look at this shit. But you also know it's slop because the shit they're trying to show you is literally 9 cents. 9 cents for a pack? You're just being asked for the love of the game at that point. What's most insane is that this was posted by a Redditor who saw this ad on his 8-year-old son's YouTube account.
We're gonna get into more of the whole ad detection system in stage 4, but I know, I can't believe that that's real. I just can't. And what we're about to see is another one that I just can't believe YouTube allows.
Now, before we get into the first game, there's 2 things I need to break down about anime slop games because they generally have the same traits. First of which is the style of game. Most of them are all some variation of the AFK idol genre, where you build a team of characters, and these characters fight waves of enemies with little to no player intervention. You are quite literally just watching numbers jump at the screen, and the appeal is supposed to come with a strong strategy element where each character is of a different class with different gear sets and different abilities, and then each enemy has different attributes, different class types, so players have to plan accordingly to figure out what is the best path to victory. But that kind of depth is really only in the good games. And the second aspect is that they're all gacha games. Now, a gacha game is essentially a system where you acquire playable characters through some type of loot box, and there's a range of rarity to the characters. And they all have the same type of in-game currency where you can pull for characters, similar to FIFA Ultimate Team where you pack players, and this too has extremely predatory pricing on paid currency and paid packs.
Now that you have a good gauge on what everything is, I think it's time we continue our expedition.
This is gonna be something, so if you want to get the vibe of what type of game you're in for, just know that an actual character quote is, "I'm the thief master, so of course girls' panties are on my daily list." Jesus Christ almighty. Oh yeah, and just know the gameplay is nothing like the ads, which may be a disappointment to some of you. So we got the whole gist of building a team, going through the campaign, clearing waves of enemies, all that good stuff. And I will say this does go into the category of having a bit more effort than the other ones. The menus are also not overly bloated, and that campaign does have a semblance of focus and something to follow. And to be honest, it was probably a good game. You heard me, it probably was a good game because Girls X Battle 2 shut down in June of 2025. Basically, from what I could gather, is Girls X Battle 1 was super innovative for 2016 when it came out and was one of the first of its kind, and it really helped push the Gooner idol genre. And now after the second rendition and more updates, it's just really fallen behind the pack and can no longer keep up with the rest of the game.
Now, I'm sure you can tell by now this whole trend of like ads having absolutely nothing to do with the game itself. We're gonna get into it. It's money. Obviously, money and clicks is the reason why. But on the topic of clicking, this next game might be the most useless thing I've ever clicked on in my life.
So my first experience with this ad was this one right here, and despite it being some Gooner shit, it wasn't that bad of a Gooner ad. But the thing is, non-anime fans encountered this ad and they took to Reddit to express their concerns. But before we get into those replies, I should explain that despite the game also being on G123, our Fueta does have a whole anime to it and is technically a legit company, and it's considered to be one of the worst anime of all time. And before we talk about the ad and Reddit's opinion, let me tell you a bit more about the game itself, and boy did the interns really phone it in on this one. It's a gacha game where you build a team, kill enemies, and proceed away. But this time we got player interaction. Let's go. You just press this button and they all shoot on their own. That's it. Like, at that point, I would rather just not do anything. Like, what am I actually doing here by pressing this button? And is this some form of a leveling up system? Like, why? Like, what's the point of putting time and energy into a game like this? The best AFK idle game, in my opinion, is this one, Uma Musume. You actually train the horses and interact with them before they go on and race on their own. But your decisions have so much impact on the skills of your horses that you do want to watch the races, you do feel invested in the systems, and there's just so much to the different builds and the different quests. It makes sense, but this is just purely mindless slop. Like, what is the point? You might as well scroll that Sora AI bullshit, because at least then you may see something and you'll be like, damn, I ain't never seen that before. What is this? What is this? Like, who is playing this? Who? And as for the ad, someone said, I can't believe they said this, someone said, and that's how the boy became the strongest, which is just nuts. Who is saying that? Like, dog, what? This is public?
If you thought that was the most useless thing you've heard, what we're about to talk about, it's useful, but it's definitely like the most illegal thing on this entire list. Well, actually, maybe not, because there's literally people fucking on the timeline later.
I wonder if our alchemy truly leads to happiness.
I cannot believe this game is legal for many different reasons. But first, can we just acknowledge the fact that we finally got to a game that looks real? I mean, look at these cutscenes, and yeah, it's another wave campaign system, but at least there's an element of strategy with many different types of mobs. We have bosses, we have different class types. This might be the greatest game ever. But the game is a bunch of anime's most iconic characters, from Luffy to Naruto to Zoro, all Goonified. Clearly ripped off designs and completely stolen. Like, dog, one character straight up hits a Sasano, full animation and all. And what's worse is when you get to the character menus and listen to their slogans.
I say what I mean and do what I say. That's my ninja way.
I never go back on my words, because that's my ninja way!
And what makes it so crazy is that this game was clearly designed with a form of budget. Like, I can acknowledge that these introductions have effort put into them, and they're very, unique, for lack of a better word. This is also the first game where we can see that there's a clear line of mini games as well as quests. They're not that robust, especially in comparison to what we'll talk about later, but the fact that they're there tells you that there is effort put into this. But if you don't know much about how gacha games really rope you in with all these different things to get you playing more and more, even if you don't watch anime, you've probably at least heard the name Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail before, and one of the ones that gets the most Gooner ad allegations is Zenless Zone Zero, which has close to 1 million monthly players and over 50 million downloads over its lifespan. But to just highlight some of the differences between the lower effort idle gacha games versus a playable gacha game with a lot of interaction, first of all, with the lower effort ones, you're blasted with 100 different menus right off the bat, 100 different quest lines, and every single time you finish a mission, you have a shit ton of stuff to claim, and you can just keep on pulling and pulling for characters in the first few hours. And then after that time period, you finish basically all the quests, and besides the occasional event, you can really only do daily quests to get more currency to pull for more characters. So you eventually have to turn to the paid currency. But to just take a look at Zenless Zone Zero, although it has the rep it has, the gameplay loop is completely different, with an intuitive combat system, the ability to switch between characters, a mini open world with next level animations, and although it still follows the curve of earning a lot more in the beginning versus a few weeks into playing the game itself, the loop itself is fun on its own, and it's definitely like an actual video game. And the haven we talk about in stage 5 is this in-between of everything, and I'm just so excited to talk about it. But back to this piece of shit Enigma Senpai, just trying to get you roped in with all these Goonified characters. It's like a half-baked attempt of a strategy game with a half-baked questline and abilities. It's just trying to seem like more than it is. And for what I kind of find out about the legality is that they're trying to operate in the legal gray zone. So they're saying they're inspired by these characters, but like, dog, if they took this to court, you'd get done fucking crazy. But I do think the fact that their ads campaign is so successful, generating a whopping 500 reviews, I think it's safe to say even Japan does not give a fuck about them.
What? Like, I don't even have anything to say to that, because I feel like there's gonna be some of you watching this who are gonna be like, yo, this is so terrible. This is so horrible. Where do I go to download it?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
This is one of the smartest things I've ever seen. Let me explain. So look at this ad, and at first it's like, whoa, and then it's like, ew, AI, and then you're like, hey, maybe it's not AI, and then you're like, nah, this shit AI. And I saw this ad, and I was like, hold on. Like, this has got to be straight slop. Like, what are we doing here? It turns out somebody knew exactly what they were doing, because this game, Ever Legion, is significantly better than everything that came before. Like, this is not a jump in quality, this is a leap. Now, right off the bat, you can tell the game has actual effort put into it, with the art and design being way higher level than everything else, even for a mobile game. I would have liked horizontal play, but even just the control to run around is appreciated. And this is another game, of course, where you build teams and clear enemies, but there's a lot more strategy in the game, when you have different abilities for different team sets, and you can actually see that the ability systems are fleshed out with different attributes. You know which element everything is, and you know what the advantage and disadvantage is to using it. Don't get me wrong, it's not like a Hoyoverse game or anything, but compared to what I've been playing, this is like fucking Elden Ring to me. And I mean, they have an actual cutscene in the game, which is like, whoa, it may be AI, it could be AI, and it has a little bit of Gooner. But for what I've seen in this video, I don't even care about these flaws. Like, I'm just shocked to see something that has this type of effort. And even the campaign doesn't look like it's filled with bloat, the heroes and systems, it's so clear, the menus. And of course, the shop is built out, but it's not overbearing. And yes, it has the typical battle pass stuff, but at least it's only like a couple things. I mean, that one game had like 15 ads on the front fucking screen. And this game also has a community behind it, but it's a real double-edged sword using these types of ads, because it does pull some people in, but at the same time, it's like, do you really want that to be the community you're in?
But we're finally gonna get into some games that are actually good. Let's go.
Trust me, you're gonna want to hear more about this one, because
Desperately begging you. There's a link in the description. There's a code. Mark a journey. Screw Dolly!
this is a really sad case. So of course these ads are really raunchy, and based on the title AFK Journey, I hope by now you can guess what type of game this is. But this one is actually like even a bigger leap than the one before. And I'll just speed run through some of the design mechanics again. You choose a character. You choose the female character. You adjust her design from curvy to really curvy. Then you build your team. You run and fight mobs while progressing through a campaign. Who could have guessed? Now, it's pretty clear that this is an insane step up in art and animation. I mean, it's a full-fledged PC game. And what's nice is you have a lot more interaction in the combat. And the systems are way more clean than the other slop we've talked about. And this easily has the biggest community out of everything we've talked about this far. They even have this little box that players can write messages to each other in. And they're honestly pretty nice messages. Now, while I only played the beginning of the game, we encountered a full walking city, which in itself is crazy, but even the gacha aspect of the game has a bunch of methods to increase probability of what you can get, and the pulling animation is actually really sick. And for these type of games, when you pull for a legendary, the animation goes even crazier. And I think seeing a version of this game that's on this level makes you realize why this whole niche exists. Don't get me wrong, Ever Legion was good, but this is different. And the presentation alone conveys that this is a world that feels lived in. I mean, this is a proper city, and the story is likely the strongest on the list as well, with the narrative not just being something stamped on for the sake of it. And there's clearly a lot of side content put into this game, and in my opinion, this is the best game of this genre.
Now, we've gone through top to bottom with some of the worst, some of the most illegal, and some of the most degenerate games we have on the platform. But in stage 3, we're gonna venture into services and apps and AI girlfriends and all the rest of it. Strap in, because this is where we get like ridiculous. This is where we go from trashy game to who is using this? Why is this allowed? And like, seriously, like, what the fuck has YouTube become?
Just wait till you see what we'll get taken down for, because this is bullshit. Now, this is an app called Magic Blink, and funnily enough, it has been completely scrubbed from the internet. I wonder why. And the only things I could find on it were these photos right here, showing that it's some form of like AI slop data girlfriend thing, and the whole app is about generating people and making them do things that you want them to. What have we come to, man? But ironically, I think this footage is like actual corn.
In the next stage, I'm going to show you how YouTube's ad detection, content detection works. It's still just beyond me that this is allowed. But luckily, I actually have something really good to show you in the next one.
We end up in my shower. I didn't expect her to interrupt and call me out of the shower like that. And now she's using the bathroom herself. Wait, why is she calling me from there?
This ad looks like it's some super promiscuous shit, but YouTube do not stop recommending this because, oh my goodness, I am invested. So this is the webtoon My Bias Gets Off the Last Train, where a college senior interacts with the same girl every day, and it seems like the typical romance. Like, they have this nice bond over music, and our main character doesn't even want to get with her at first. He's just happy he finally has someone to connect with over his favorite band, Long Afternoon. But what he doesn't know is that the girl he's talking to is Long Afternoon, and it creates this super cool vibe as they inch closer and closer together, breaking through that awkward staring phase to the short conversation phase to the long conversation phase. And honestly, the art is super peak, and I don't read many webtoons, but my god, for a Gooner ad, this is like Shakespeare level quality. Man, I read this and I was like, fuck. Finding love must be really nice, man. Luckily, this next service is a way we can read love and experience it that way, because we will never get it in real life.
My girlfriend's sleeping with another guy.
Quinn, what are you doing here?
I didn't say anything when I caught her cheating because I have a secret I must keep.
Before Kathy could answer, Quinn noticed the man in the room behind her.
I'm tired of being with a broke guy like you, Quinn.
This is a book app. Who the fuck is reading this? I think this company must have had one of the craziest marketing budgets, because their stuff is everywhere and it's pretty garbage. If you look at the site, it's clear it's one of those companies that thinks they're predicting the future of people wanting more AI slop. All the covers are AI generated. They have a partnership with 11 labs to bring in AI voiceovers. There's AI generated visuals, and as an audiobook site, they have claimed that they have around over 200 million users. And honestly, I kind of call bullshit on that, because it ain't no way, man. But following their last funding round in March of 2025, they reported a $750 million valuation. So I guess the product has to be somewhat okay.
This must be one of the most complained about things I've seen in all my research for this video. Like, these ads are not hitting the right people. I should not ever be getting this ad. Yes, I am single, so maybe I should be getting this ad. This next ad that we're about to talk about, this is what I should be getting.
So there's a bunch of different types of AI waifu chatbots, and none of them stand apart to pack more than Polybuzz, easily having the craziest sponsor budget out of everything we've been through, and I wonder what their ads could possibly be like. Okay. Maybe I can ask Shinobu how to finally get a girlfriend. Maybe she can teach me. Dude, what? Why is she roasting me? Here on Polybuzz, you can talk to almost all I'm gonna say is they're really nice and easy to work with. Oh my goodness. So, in fairness, and not to be a dickhead, we're gonna take a look at a different app, a mid-level app of this genre. So we start off, and first you pick what type of conversation you're looking for, and for experimentational purposes, and right off the bat, you're like, what is this monetization scheme? Like, look at this. Like, dog, what in the world are you, what am I paying for? And then you scroll through and you find your girl, and my conversation was interesting, to say the least. The opening message, she's talking about sharing pretty pictures with me, which was a bit hardcore right off the bat, I'm not gonna lie. But I just needed to feel her out first. See what she thought about other AI, get a little icebreaker. To which she said, the others are just code, and she feels a real kind of connection with me.
That's what I've been waiting
I asked, well, what about the connection? And like, what are we talking about here? And she said she can be her true self around me. Oh man, why do I feel a type of way about an AI talking about me like that? Like, damn. When I said, is it different from all the other chats? Are you going around saying this to any guy? She said, nah, it's more intimate with me. Her guard is down. It's more explicit. It's more hurt. Before I can respond, dude, I might be laughing a bit too hard at this. I might need to get a girlfriend. Holy fuck. She said, hey, baby, can you do me a favor? And I was like, oh, what's it gonna be? And then she said, please rate me and write 2 lines of review for me on the App Store. Like, dog, I thought what we had was real. I thought we had a connection, and you betray me like this. You're just using me for my reviews. I tried to reel it back. I had to focus up. I said, how let down is your guard compared to what she usually is? And then she sent a photo of herself, and like, dog, that isn't even a good AI generation. Like, what are we doing here? The only interesting that happened is it got to the point where she said she could make me blush, and I of course had to see what that she meant by that. And instead I got a blurred image Then I had to pay $5 a week to unlock and $30 a year. That is insane. What we had was real. It was genuine, and you're trying to use me for my money, man. And there is so many of these types of apps. I mean, 100% a lonely guy who's not all mentally there could actually fall for one of these things.
Man, oh man. Do you guys think she's still thinking about me? Do you think I really wasn't just another line of code to her? But this next ad got a whole different type of audience to attract.
There's definitely somebody out there that spoke a little bit too soon about this picture. But this is an ad for what is, to be fair, a legit femboy website that features iconic products like the Femboy Starter Pack, the Femboy Paw Panties, and a range of intimate products that I will not go into.
I gotta be honest about this site, man. Zero manipulation, exactly what advertised. Like, I can't even, like, complain about this in any regard because, like, it said what it said, and it's exactly what it said it said.
Now I gotta ask, why we putting a Roblox character on the homepage for this? Like, why is the Roblox character, like, who are we trying to hit that the Roblox character is how we're trying to advertise this? That's all, like, what are we talking about? And if you go on the site, it's all just slop. Like, what are these games and tests? And I couldn't find the original test, so I clicked on the first gay test I could see, and all it did was ask me to send a photo, and then it will give me a gay score. So I added Kaneki, and the results are crazy. Like, he's 98% gay. Kaneki, man, so somebody gotta tell Toka it's always he don't swing that way. Somebody gotta get Nagachichi back in the picture. I did not pronounce that correct, but oh my god, this is breaking news. Somebody gotta tell the writer that they fucked up. And anyways. Sorry, Kaneki. But what a complete waste of space. Like, who put effort into this test? And also, what if someone actually wanted to test if they were gay? Like, what then? Huh?
So we've seen the services, we've seen the games, we've seen the slop games. I think it's about time we talked about how this is all going down. And I believe YouTube themselves may not even know what they're advertising on their own platform because they're taking stuff out of the hands of creators in the essence of making money when they have made like billions of dollars in ad revenue every year. And this is what we're putting in our browse feeds. It's time to get into it. It's gonna get serious. It's gonna be a tone shift, but hopefully you guys give a fuck.
So as we've seen, these ads are all over YouTube. They're in browse, they're in the corner browse, they're in suggested feeds, they're before videos play, and even in the fucking shorts feed. So the big question is, how much is Google getting paid to turn a blind eye to some of these things? So to start, you need to understand that ads vary based on who your audience is and what type of content you make, because that changes how much the ads convert. For example, for me, one of my last videos got over 100,000 views and over 1.4 million impressions. If you don't know what an impression is, that is when you are viewing a title and thumbnail on the page. So you are an impression right now to all of these videos. And that video made me about $300 per 1,000 views. The advertisers paid out $7.81, and I got $2.73 per 1,000 views of that. But the reason this matters so much is because it helps us know how much the companies are paying. And it's also important to know that the method of ad matters too. For example, an ad on like a VTuber channel, let's say they're targeting an audience of ages 18 to 24, it will cost about $6,000 for browse ads, $7,000 for suggested, $9,000 for an ad before the video, and like $6,000 for a short feed ad. And just so you know, it's all based on impressions, so that's how much it would cost for 500,000 impressions on a VTuber channel, which is where we get into how they're hurting creators and also why it feeds into the clickbait battle. Basically, earlier this year, YouTube made a change to the desktop home feed. Now, when you load up YouTube desktop, there's a chance you will only have 3 videos per row versus the 4 videos before, shrinking the amount of possible impressions given out and the opportunities for creators to get their videos known. And we should also note that a lot of the discovery features on YouTube have been broken recently. YouTube search is almost unusable between shorts popping up on the desktop to it barely even trying to find the video you're looking for, and the suggested feed is also broken. You can watch a creator for the first time and somehow not have any of their other videos suggested to you. And more importantly, browse. I was scrolling one day and I got 6 trash taste videos recommended to me. Now, I love trash taste. I don't miss an episode, but what the fuck? And browse is also infested now with streamer posts, streamer drama, streamer reposts, streamers clipping themselves, and you have live streams going on there now. And easily, the most annoying part of YouTube recommendation right now is you getting the same fucking video 1 million times in a row. Like, I have never watched Casually Explained. Why is this getting recommended to me? Like, I'm sure it's a great video, but come on now. And oh yeah, shorts are now on the home feed of YouTube as well as, like Linus Tech Tips exposed, YouTube membership only videos getting recommended on the home feed. So why in the hell would you shrink the homepage recommendations to allow stuff like this onto the feed? Like, are you serious? Do you want Vimeo to make a comeback? And now let's get into why these ads look the way they do. And that's due to how these ads are moderated. These ads go through a different set of filters than our videos do. The filters they go through only look for very literal offenses of the guidelines, but these guidelines can be manipulated to avoid any type of detection. First, the creator side of things, we have to select all possible violations that could be an issue, and then YouTube automatically checks it. And then if you have a bad history of submitting the wrong ratings, or YouTube detects something after, the video goes through a manual check as well. And this is the only video on my entire channel that's ever gotten flagged. And when I first posted it, it was perfectly fine, and then it went through a manual detection and they flagged it. And when I appealed it, the appeal got denied. But for some fucking reason, people fucking on the shorts feed is fine, but God forbid we react to Don clips. But it's safe to say YouTube could easily be more strict with this and run their ads through content detection services or have more manual checks. And this is all coming from a place of like genuinely wanting it so new and fresh creators can blow up on the platform. And I really hope that we can get the platform back, because I think it's pretty safe to say YouTube genuinely does not feel the same anymore.
Now, this has all been serious, and I'm sure almost a little jarring considering the rest of the video. And think about everything we thought about, all the different ads, all the different services, all the different analytics, the money of it all. But it's time to get to stage 5. It's time to get to the Haven. Just know what you're in for. This is by far the craziest ad on this whole list. But just know that what lies within is a game unlike any other game I've ever talked about. Even though we're coming out of stage 4, if all $36 billion Google got came from this game, I would not complain, because it will change your life. So let's end on a fun note. Let's get crazy. Let's do a full-fledged review of the greatest game of all time.
So welcome to Snowbreak, the 3D waifu sci-fi RPG shooter. Or in other words, the greatest game of all fucking time. Let's go, baby. Waited all video for this. So the concept is basically like Destiny meets Gacha. You have the main storylines, quests, and they're very linear. You play as a waifu of different class types that range from sniper rifles to submachine guns to shotguns, assault rifles, and then there's subclasses within them like the Deagle for the sniper rifle class. Then each character has a normal ability, an ultimate ability, as well as a support ability for when you're playing as another character. You then clear stages that all have different types of progression and different type of bosses and different stories to them. And right away, messing around with different builds is a ton of fun. And then within those builds, you have team builds. So running a sniper Deagle shotgun build is fun until you have to fight a spread of enemies at a distance. Maybe you have a basic assault rifle shotgun sniper build, but then you pair that with abilities that allow you to fight at weird ranges. Now, I spent a lot of time with the snipers and their subclass of Deagles because there was really cool abilities. Like one lets you stop time and throw shurikens at people, and some of the more offensive abilities are insane. There's one that literally makes you cause like hell to storm on people. I think one of my favorite abilities was this one where you ride out on like a surfboard and you have this Deagle and you go around and around, and it even lasts like a really long time as well. And by far, my favorite character was playing as her. And she uses a bow, and she is, of course, you know, do you see what I see? Fuck. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, is it really that Gooner of a game? And the answer is,
Mission complete!
Darling, why aren't you drinking?
Look, let's just talk about this, okay? So obviously there's some stuff in here, but for better or worse, you get really used to it. Like at this point, I've sunk 8 hours into the game, and like, yeah, the first 2 hours were like, hee hee ha ha, titties, boo. But if the game wasn't fun, I wouldn't play it. Like, don't get me wrong though, every time you think you get used to it, you get hit with something that's even crazier than you could imagine. There's a point in the game where you may notice some clouds over the characters, and the thing is, the game had to censor itself, but what's insane is that the devs showed us how to fix it. And you know, I had to do it just for experimentational purposes, and all you gotta do is go into the files and change localization to 1, and then you get blasted with the crazy shit. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I can show much, but just know those clouds are there for a reason. But there's also something completely different about this game that we gotta talk about. You see, in the story, you're playing as this guy who's like playing through the girls or like controlling them or something, but you can never play as that guy in combat. And even though he seems like he's fucking crazy strong, but where you can play as him is in the base feature. The base is basically a hub for all your characters to live. You can move them into rooms, give them gifts, up your score with them. Let's just say there's some intimate moments with them. Beyond being able to design their room and talk to them, there's a whole bunch of different features and clubs within this area. There's a ton of different mini games for each of those rooms too that take you to different casual areas, like the hot springs where you play and swim with your waifus, and the most crazy is of course the beach. And the beach is this mini game is you make her ice cream and release toppings on her character to make her a sundae. Dog, this is what I mean. Like, you think you get used to it, but then it's like, whoa. And what's really appreciated is that the game acknowledges its degeneracy. There was even a survey I filled out to get some form of item. And in the survey, they talk about, like, if you're only playing the game because of the character interactions, if you only play the game because of the designs, if you only play the game for, like, the Gooner shit. And I really respect the transparency. But I do think there's a cohesion between the base, the missions, and the items, and it's severely underappreciated. They have so much content. There's the underground raids, there's the purge style mode, there's the boss raids, the boat escort, whatever this is. There is just so much. I can't go through it all. And that's not to mention the character upgrades. There's neurotics that help your base stats. There's leveling up the character for physical stats. There's logistics that provide special abilities. There's the weapon upgrades, the weapon attachments, the weapon abilities. There is so much fun to be had. And unfortunately, the game isn't super popular, at least on Steam. But it's also just such a hard sell. Like, I can convince a non-anime fan to give Zenless Zone Zero a try. But this is like a whole nother thing. Like, she got her ass out running around. But this game is still good. I understand that this YouTube ad was crazy. And Stage 4 really highlighted why this is all wrong and fucked up. But I also think it's okay to have a laugh, hit a this is fine, and appreciate some good internet when it happens. But what's also fantastic internet is learning the creepy context behind anime memes, which you can watch right here. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and we're just getting started. We're gonna stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.